Did you know that some of the struggles that you're facing today and some of the feelings and the behaviors and thoughts may have stemmed from childhood? Like way back when? I thought that if I could just leave my home as a 17-year-old, 18-year-old and start my own family, that my life would be easy and I could just start all over again and nothing from my past would affect me. Well, maybe you're different than I am. Maybe you are very aware that that happens when you leave your home. The mess goes with you, and the things that happen to you in your past can transfer into your present. Well, I became a wife and a mom, and I realized that I was not able to be the mom that I wanted to be, nor was I able to be the wife that I wanted to be. And I found myself yelling at my kids, something I said that I would never do. And I was being angry and depressed, and I had these things that I wanted to put away and get rid of. But the more I tried to do it, the more it sprung up every time I turned around. Let me share a little bit about where I came from, and maybe you'll understand, and maybe you can relate. I came from a home where my mom and my dad split up when I was 4. My dad left the home and I didn't see him all my childhood. And so I didn't grow up with a dad. But my mom started dating shortly after my dad left. And these men that would come into my home were very much like my grandfather, very much like what my mom was used to growing up with. So the generational pattern was repeating itself as my mom started to find a new man. And these men that would come into our home were very much like my grandfather, where they would have anger issues. They would be an alcoholic, and they would physically, verbally, and sexually abuse myself and my siblings. I remember very vividly many times where I would stand there yelling and pleading, screaming on the top of my lungs, stop, 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 and telling these men to stop hurting my siblings. And no matter how much I screamed at them, they wouldn't stop. They wouldn't stop hurting them. And that really impacted me as a child, and I didn't even know it. I went into my adulthood and I was thinking that I didn't have a voice. I would try to muster up enough confidence to speak into a situation and to speak up and give my opinion. And I felt like I did not have a voice to speak into important things. In my family, in the workplace, in school, it didn't matter, no matter where I was, that incident of being abused, trying to stop the people that were abusing my siblings, not stopping and not having a voice in those situations made me feel like I didn't have a voice in other situations either. I remember all the things that I went through. It was like I had started to build a wall up. I had started to build a wall up with the people that are around me. Each thing that I had went through as a child, I started to build a wall up to protect myself from not experiencing those hurts and pains again. The men in my life would come and go. The boyfriends would come in and not stay. So I thought that men wouldn't come, they wouldn't stay around. So when I got married, I was expecting my husband to leave too. And it was like brick upon brick upon brick upon brick. I would build this wall that kept me from really getting to know my husband and even my children. It kept me from connecting with my children. And I had to realize that the wall that I was building in my heart, and it was layers deep. And the wall that I was building was keeping me from the relationships with my family and with the people that God was surrounding me with. When we deal with things, we could be building a wall up around those people that God puts in our lives. Even our children, even our spouses. And it takes us recognizing those things that have happened to us and getting down to the root issues to be able to start taking that wall down so that we can start to connect with the loved ones around us, and even friends, even people at our church, people at our workplace, and those people around us. So I just encourage you to really think about where those walls come up in your life. Do you feel a wall come up when you're talking to people? And do you feel a wall even with your loved ones, your children, your spouse? I want to read to you a scripture in the Bible, and it really explains God's heart as far as us connecting as people. It's Psalms 68:6. And it says in the King James Version, I love how the King James Version puts it. It says, God setteth the solitary in families. Solitary. Solitary is isolation. It's what happens when you put up walls and you disconnect from people. He bringeth out those which are bound with chains. He brings us out of where we're bound. Where are you bound in thought patterns or feelings or just being stuck in some of the places in your life? It says that he bringeth us out of those places that we're bound. But the rebellious dwell in dry land. Now, you may not think that you're rebellious. I didn't think I was rebellious, but I was rebellious in those areas that I continued to stay stuck in being defined by the past, being defined by my pain, and acting according to it as if it was true. You know, when we are agreeing with our past and our pain, it's kind of a sort of rebellion. But if we are able to agree with what God says that we're able to overcome. So if we agree with that and we act according to the truth, then we're no longer being rebellious. But that's something to think about. Are there places in your life that you're having walls put up? And would you like to get unstuck? Would you like to start tearing down those walls and start connecting deeper with your kids and your spouse and those people around you? Maybe you've jumped from church to church trying to find your community. But maybe the walls that you've put in front of you and around your heart are the very walls, the things that's keeping you from connecting to your community. Just something to challenge you with it today. If you need help, reach out to us. We would love to help you. Our description, our information is in the description below and in our bio. And we would love to hear from you. Well, you have a wonderful day and be blessed.